Welcome to the Pirate Handyman, where we help you become more self-sufficient and save coin for your treasure chest. If you dig what we're doing, hit that subscribe button, and if you hit the notification bell, you'll be notified every time a new video drops. What we're doing today is we've got a glass cooktop stove, and everybody has a favorite burner, and as you can see, this is our favorite burner. Now what has happened here is when we turn it on, it works fine for about 5 minutes, and then it will just go completely hot. Doesn't matter where you are in here. And if you wiggle this, let's say we put it over here and it's just staying hot, I can wiggle it, it'll go back down for a few minutes and then come back up. So what that's telling us is that this control that this knob is attached to has gone bad. And these run about 25 to 30 bucks. A whole new cooktop is going to cost anywhere from $400 to $800. So we want to save some coin here. So before we take this apart, we've got to turn off the power. So we do know that a cooktop is 220 volts, so it's going to be one of these double ones. And as you can see, and we've done this in another video, we've showed you how to create a legend here that's easier to read. So our cooktop is going to be this here. So we're going to turn that off. All right, so we'll turn this on to make sure that it doesn't come on, and try each burner. Nothing happens, so we've got the power turned off. Now here's a fun part. The first thing we've got to do is there's 2 clips on this particular model that are underneath that are holding it. So let's see if we can get under there and see them. All right, we've got that one on the left side, and we've got this one on the right side. All right, now that we've got the screws out that we're holding it, we're going to take a putty knife, and there's probably some adhesive that was under here, and also gunk and grime that just happens to get under there. So we're going to scrape all of this out. Okay, so now we've got all 3 sides, and we can't get to the back, obviously. So we've gotten all the stuff up, so if we should just be able to push it up, and up it comes. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take these off, because we're going to have to take the cooktop off. We're going to do this very carefully because we don't want to break it. So there are screws, as you can see, right here. And we're going to take all of these screws out.
99 bottles of rum and we got 99 bottles of rum. Drink it down, don't act like a clown. 98 bottles of rum and we got 99 bottles of rum and we got 99 bottles of rum. Drink it down, don't act like a clown. 98 bottles of rum and we got.
Again, we want to be very careful not to put this in a position where it's going to fall. I know we always drop something on the Pirate Handyman. You don't want to drop this.
99 bottles of rum and we got 99 bottles of rum. Drink it down, don't act like a clown. 98 bottles of rum and we got.
All right, and we'll just set the cooktop over here. Out of the way. Now, we have to get in here and figure out how we're going to do that. In further inspection, we can see that there are 1, 2, 3 screws inside here.
99 bottles of rum and we got 99 bottles of rum. Drink it down, don't act like a clown. 98 bottles of rum and you got.
Lift this up, set it over to the side. Now we see we've got some more screws. This is nothing. And be careful, these edges can be sharp. Now you want to be careful of the burners because the these are rather delicate, the filaments in there, and we don't want to mess those up. So now what we do is we disconnect, and I would take a picture here. Next we're going to take out the actual rheostat. And you can see there's 2 screws on top here. So we're going to take those out. All right, I'm going to reuse this because the new one didn't come with one. So now we see how these come off. Sometimes there are little boogers holding them on, so I'm going to very carefully take a flathead screwdriver, insert it in there, and just twist. So we've got one going across the top that has 3. One that goes across the bottom has 2. Okay, so now we're ready to put in our new switch, our new rheostat. We want to make sure that it's going to be in the same way it was before. So you can see that this piece here is on this side. So we're going to put this little cover back on that we took off. Get it on there nice and snug. Push it back through. So we'll pull it back up here, put our screws back in. All right, so now it's time to reconnect this. Now you'll see there's a little piece right here, and the reason that piece is here is so you can't accidentally put it like this, because if you do, it's going to hit against here. So you make sure that this piece here that's sticking out is going on the inside. And that just pushes in like that. And then this one, you got the 1 on the bottom, 2 on the top, 1 on the bottom, 2 on the top. it up and push it in. Make sure it's down all the way. And then we're ready to put this back together. All right, now that we've got it back in, we'll get this seated again. Make sure we don't have any wires that are errant and broken.
99 bottles of rum and we got 99 bottles of rum. Drink it down, don't act like a clown. 98 bottles of rum and we got.
One thing I wanted to point out, you may have a question on why I use the cordless screwdriver to take the screws out, but I'm using the manual screwdriver to put it back in. Whenever you're dealing with thin aluminum like this, or even the sheet metal, I don't want to strip the screw or the screw hole. So if you use anything with power, like a power drill, power screwdriver, something like that, you run the risk of it twisting and then stripping the screw. So that's why I use the manual. All right, so we've turned the cooktop upside down and put it on a towel on the island. Wanted to show you here, I have put weather stripping tape on here. So I'm now going to take this off since we're going to be putting this back together. You remember when we were cleaning it before, there was that little black rubber ribbon. All right, so this is going to do a little bit of the same thing as far as sealing the edge between here and the glass, but it's also going to provide a cushion. So if you accidentally drop a pan or something on the cooktop, it's got a little bit of give. Now, I don't want to say it's going to bounce or anything like that, but anytime you have hard to hard, when you drop something, whatever you drop it on is going to absorb that whole the whole weight. Whereas if there's a little bit of cushion here, it's going to minimize it a little bit. So before we put the cooktop on, I'm just going to take the white backing off of the weather stripping tape. Now this side is not sticky, but we made sure to clean the edge surfaces and used just Dawn dishwashing liquid to get all the grease off. And again, the edges are sharp, so be careful. I'm going to set this back on top here. Getting a little bit squirrely here on the back. Make sure that we've got everything here lined up. And now we're going to put all the screws back in. So the last thing we're going to do, I could have done this earlier, is we're going to take all of this grease off of here. And you just use the spatula. And then we'll take some warm water and make sure that we've got it all off of there so we get a nice seal with the weather stripping. All right, since we've got everything clean, we're now just going to set it back in. It fits nice and snug. Then we'll put these back in. Okay, moment of truth. We've got the clips back in, we've put the knobs back on, and we've turned the power back on. Now, I've gone ahead and I've heated this up once to make sure that that it was all connected right. So we're going to turn it on. And our problem, if you remember, is it just stayed on high. So you can see let me turn this light off here. So you can see it's real bright red. And now as we turn it down, it goes off. So now it's working again. We'll let it sit here just for a second to see if it comes back on. It does, and I can still now turn it down, and it's working great. So we've just saved about anywhere from $250 to $550, $650, maybe $1 million. Anyway, but just to show you that you can do it. So we hope you dig what we're doing here on the Pirate Handyman. We're trying to make you self-sufficient and save more coin for your treasure chest. If you like it, hit the subscribe button down below, and if you hit the notification bell, you get notified every time a new video drops. Here's to smooth sailing.